Hey everybody, doing a year in review video. Just today finishes up the fifth year um, that we've had a record collection in the house. And so this year, instead of just giving you some numbers as far as how many's been acquired in the collection, how much the collection has so far, I'm going to show you the highlights of the albums I was most stoked. Stoked is still a word, right? We're, you know what? We're gonna bring back stoked. Stoked. I was stoked to get these albums in the collection. Not gonna show any of the 2024 releases, simply because I did do a grading of the 2024 releases that I picked up last year. Um, and yeah, I did get maybe like two or three late editions from 2024 earlier this year, but I'm just going to focus on just the ones I was really happy to get in the collection. There's quite a bit to show, um, so I'm going to try to speed this along as best as possible. So some numbers to throw out. 224 records were added to the collection. There were some things that I got rid of that were either part of trades or just stuff I thought I was going to get into, it really didn't get into. But the overall total is now at 1,104. So 5 years into doing this, started the collection on April the 29th, 2020. Some years have been bigger than others, and I don't expect year 6 to really be anywhere close to what this year was. This year did outdo last year by 9, and absolutely slaughtered years 3 and 2. But anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the stuff I was most happy to add. And I'm going to start off with a couple box sets. So the first one is the Dio studio albums, 96 to 2004. So Anger Machines, Magica, Killing the Dragon, Master of the Moon, and it also came with a 7-inch single of a song called Electra that was going to be on Magica Part 2, but obviously it was never recorded because Ronnie died. So basically with this box set, I doubled my Dio collection studio album wise and only need 2 more. Lock Up the Wolves and Strange Highways are the only 2 I'm missing from the Dio catalog now. The other box set is the Anno Domini, the Tony Martin era -1 record because they didn't have permission yet. So they remastered Headless Cross, Tear, Forbidden, and Cross Purposes. They didn't have permission to do the Eternal Idol because it was on a different label. And then later on, though, on Record Store Day, I didn't even know this was coming out. Eternal Idol was remastered and released. So now I have all of the Tony Martin era Black Sabbath. So whittling down that number to where I almost have all the Sabbath studio albums. All right, I'm gonna breeze through these, or try to. So the first one I'm gonna show with the single albums is Secret Trees, Blue Oyster Cult. I'm a huge Blue Oyster Cult fan. Love these guys, and was very happy to get this album. Bought it for not much at Pharmacy Records. I paid $8 for it. Was in great condition. Next up, another one from there as well. Firepower, Legs Diamond, late 70s heavy metal hard rock band. Got this for $10 at the same place. Great album. This next one I got on Amazon. It's not an original, but Motorhead No Sleep Till Hammersmith, my first Motorhead live album that I've picked up. This is on the Ace of Spades tour, and it's one of the probably, I'd say, top 5 most well-known live albums from around that time and earlier. So super stoked to get that. Also going to show one of the 4 Motorhead studio albums that I got from Ron Haggerty that I bought off him, Rock and Roll. This one originally came out in 1987. And then one of the albums I bought off Scott, Riot 5, Mean Streets. And from what I'm understanding, I believe they're going back to, they've dropped the 5 part and they're just back now down to being Riot again. That is a 2024 release, but I wanted to show it because I got it from Scott. Next, I'm a huge Thin Lizzy fan, so I was able to snag Thin Lizzy's Renegade. I believe I got this from Scratch and Spin. Still hunting down my favorite from them, which is Thunder and Lightning. Next up, got this for a whole $1 at Goodwill, UFO Mechanics. This is after Michael Schenker had already left and went solo, but still a great album, and to get it for $1 was just exceptional. Next up, got this from Vintage Vinyl, Russian Roulette from Accept, and I'm not sure when this was originally released. It was in the 90s. I can tell you that much. This is a really underrated, I think, Accept album. I mean, they've got so many great ones, but was very happy to get that. Next, my wife was able to find my favorite Danzig record. Danzig 2, Lucifuge. I think she got this on Discogs, if I'm not mistaken. And got a red vinyl. Very happy to be adding more Metal Church. Blessing in Disguise. Great album. Next up, getting some new wave of British heavy metal. Tigers of Pantang. Wildcat. Paid $25 for it, but I mean, it's a great record and it's an original copy and in absolute great condition. And then some new wave of traditional heavy metal. Got this from Scott as well. Midnight Priest. And this is their Midnight Steel album on Anger of Metal Records. When this came out. This is their first one, I think. I think this is their first one. Great stuff. Then we're going to move to the thrash, which there's quite a bit of that. And The Mastery from Accuser. This is the second one I've got from them. I got the self-titled from Scott. This I bought from Second and Charles. Atomic Witch Crypt of the Sleepless Malice. Got this. This is a 2022 release, but I got this in my one of my Metalhead box packages. Great stuff, kind of like a Blackened Thrash. Going to more of a crossover. Split Images from Excel, their debut. Got this from Ron in a trade of stuff. More Ron purchases. Got This and I think two or three other Exciter albums. Long Live the Loud. This is, I believe, their second album. And this was, not sure when it was. I believe 82 was when the first one was released. This one says 85. Then I bolstered my Exodus collection, grabbed all three of the Rob Dukes albums. This is Shovelheaded Kill Machine, the first one he did with the band. They got a lot heavier than what they were doing previous, even though Temple of the Damned was pretty heavy as well. Another Scott Waters purchase, Victims of Science, Gamicide, great Texas thrash band. To my knowledge, their only album, and from what I understand, I think they're touring some like select dates, but I think they may be gearing up for another record. And then self-titled Insanity Alert, got this from Ron. This is more of a kind of thrash crossover. And this came out in, looks like 2016 or 2018. Let's see. It doesn't say on that, but I was really happy to get this. Getting my first Metallica live album was really good, and I got this from Second and Charles. This is from their Woodstock '94, and it's a double album. Got basically most of the songs you think you would hear from the Black Album on back. And obviously there's covers on here. You got cover of Bread Fan, So What. Those might be the only two. Really good set list on here as well. I added, I want to say 2 or 3 Overkill to the collection. I know one I got from Ron. This one I got off Amazon, Horoscope, which was their album that followed The Years of Decay, and they brought in 2 guitar players to offset the loss of Bobby Gustafson. Bought this off Ron and several other Razor albums. Violent Restitution, great Canadian thrash band. So this was a release from last year, but it was a re-recording. Cavalera doing the Schizophrenia album. They didn't overproduce this when they re-recorded, which is really great. So still has a raw enough sound, but an updated production, much like the other 2 they released, the EP and the first studio album, Morbid Visions. And they're basically kind of recorded the same way, where you still kind of have a raw enough sound where it's not over polished production. But those albums definitely sound better than the original releases. And then you got the debut from this kind of blackened thrash, Skeleton Witch Beyond the Permafrost on Prosthetic Records. These guys are just awesome, and they get kind of darker and heavier with each release. I don't think there's a year when this came out. Came out in the mid 2000s, I want to say. They are from Ohio, if I'm not mistaken. Another one I was really, really happy to get. My wife picked up on Discogs because Ron told me it was there and for not a bad price. The only album from Canada's Slaughter, Strapato, a thrash kind of bordering on death metal at certain times, but You know, this is really great. I didn't think this would really even be anywhere close to the price that it was available for. My wife picked it up for me. That was great. The other live album I was happy to get back in my collection. I don't like this, the album cover as much as I like the original version from the CD. Decade of Regression Live from Slayer on their Seasons of the Abyss tour. This was released in '91. Great track listing on there. I don't like the fact that it's like the digital version, which cuts out a lot of the middle parts in between songs. That's one of the fun things I like about live albums. But so hopefully I'll grab it on CD, like from Amazon or something. Another one I got from Scott Waters, Sodom in 16, includes a couple of live tracks from Wacken in 2001. And show you that nice orange. And then my wife picked this up from, God, where was it? Switzerland or Sweden, I think. An original copy of Testament's second album, New Order. My favorite from the original lineup. And then I got this one from Pharmacy Records, but I got it when he did one of the Southeast Punk Flea Market events. Primal Future from Toxic Holocaust. Black and Thrash, great band. Trying to remember where they're from, but I honestly just don't. They're an American band, I do believe that. And next up, another Canadian band pickup. Nothing Face from Voivod. Got this off of Amazon at not too bad of a price. And then we go into the death metal, an essential one. I think anybody would tell you, At the Gate, Slaughter of the Soul. Earache Records, originally released in 1995. Debut from a death metal supergroup, Bloodbath Resurrection Through Carnage. Released on Peaceville Records. And then one of 4, or maybe 5, I think it was 4, Bolt Thrower albums I got off of Ron, The Fourth Crusade. Love Bolt Thrower, have all their studio albums now. Got this from Pharmacy Records, but again also at the Punk Flea Market. And this is Cancer, Sins of Mankind. And they just released a new album that I have not gotten a chance to listen to. This is a 2014 re-release. And then one of, I think, three Carcass albums I got from Ron, Symphonies of Sickness. Originally released in 1989. And then the band I finally got something on vinyl from, the final album from this Finnish melodic death metal band, Children of Bodom and Hexed. And then we've got another album I got off Ron, Deceased, Fearless Undead Machines. And then this one, pretty sure I got Scratch and Spin. Splatter Thrash by Ghoul. They're kind of a death and thrash mixture, mainly death, so that's why I have them in the death metal side. Tank Crimes Records, don't have a year of release on this. And then we're going to move to the last stack of stuff, which is going to be some more death metal, some Dune stuff as well. Another one I got off of Ron Pulse by Gorefest on Nuclear Blast Records. 2009 re-release of this album. Then there's House of Atreus, the Spear, and the Ichor that follows. I got this off of my Metalhead Box subscription off Dark Descends Records. It's a really good, brutal but not over the top death metal. And then here's another classic, In Flames Colony. This was a re-release off from Nuclear Blast from last year. And then another re-release from a classic death metal album, Morbid Angel, Altars of Madness, originally put out in either 89 or 90. '89 originally. This was re-released in 2017. Another absolute classic death metal release, Amongst the Catacombs of the Neferka from Nile, American death metal band that does Egyptian history and mythology in their in the lyrics for Relapse Records. I believe this was 98 when this originally came out. I got this one off of Amazon. Wasn't too bad. In fact, all the Nile albums are pretty decent prices on Amazon. Sworn to a Great Divide from Soilwork. These guys are Swedish kind of progressive technical death metal. This was re-released in 2023 on Nuclear Blast. And then we've got Stargazer, Emerging into the Boundless. I have two Stargazer albums, and both of them came from the Metalhead Box subscription. These guys are kind of like an atmospheric death metal band, and I want to say from Australia. Next up, another Ron Haggerty purchase. Got quite a few Suffocation albums from him. This is their Live in North America. This is the last thing that was recorded with their original vocalist, Frank Mullen, from the 2018 tour. And it has great sound to it. Which most live death metal albums don't have a great sound, but this one does. And then there's some Tomb Mold, a newer death metal band. Planetary Clairvoyance from $20 Spin is the label this was on. Got this at Second and Charles. It is a bit warped, but it does play fine. I don't know if you can tell by looking at it right there, but it is a tad bit warped. But like I said, it plays fine, so that's really kind of mainly what matters. And a lot of times it's just kind of happens in shipping. And then next up we move into, out of the death metal stuff, Lamb of God, Ashes of the Wake, which is my favorite from Lamb of God. Actually attempted to buy this the day before it was supposed to be put out, but it had already been put on the shelves, but it wasn't able to be scanned to be purchased, so I had to go back the next day to buy it. And this is the I guess anniversary reissue of it. So I was really happy to grab that to have my favorite Lamb of God album. And then my wife picked up this one, Moral Hygiene from Ministry. This was 2021 release, and I still think it's better than the last one, Hopium for the Masses. That one's still kind of growing on me a bit, but this one I think is a lot better. And then we got one of, I think, 5 Ahab albums that I got from Ron. And this one is, let's see, The Divinity of Oceans. And when did it come out? 2009, Napalm Records. Great funeral band from Germany. And more kind of in that vein, disembowelment, transcendence into the peripheral. And these guys ended up breaking up, and then another band was formed, and I cannot for the life of me remember what the other band was. But very similar sound to this, but I can't remember what it was. Next up is Goat Snake, Black Age Blues. Got this out of Pharmacy Records from his actual shop earlier this year. And these guys are from New Orleans, do a stoner, sludgy, doomy kind of, just really great heavy stuff. And then we've got an older High on Fire album, Snakes of the Divine, which came out in 2010. Matt Pike of Sleep. This is his brainchild, baby. And I did get my first Sleep album too, but I figured I was going to show this, so I didn't want to show both. And then one of a few Shape of Despair albums that I picked up from Ron. Monotony Fields. More, Funeral Doom. And then we got Space Slug. This was pretty much a blind buy. These are very spacey stoner doom band. And this is Reign of Orion, I think is the name of the album. Even though it's not shown on any of the discs, but I'm pretty sure that's what the name of the album was. I thought it was self-titled, and then I actually looked it up on Google, and I'm pretty sure Reign of Orion is the name of that one. Really good. I've spun it like a couple of times. Really good. Really happy to get my favorite Type O Negative in the collection last year, October Rust. Almost got the anniversary edition of Bloody Kisses. However, some tracks were omitted from the original version, but there is a 3-disc version that actually has all the tracks. But that one's really expensive, so I'm going to have to wait for that to come down quite a bit. Then going into more alternative metal, we go into the debut from Gwar, Hell O. This was a 2024 re-release from Pit Records. And then the last 4 are just some kind of hard rock stuff. The Boys, Too Wild to Tame. Got this at Second and Charles, originally released in 1978. Have a real kind of AC/DC feel to them. They're originally from Chicago. I think they have more albums than this, but I'm not completely sure. And then at Vintage Vinyl, picked up this Razor Fist and Yell from Alex Cooper. Just great classic 80s Cooper from 87. And then I got this at the Drip Coffee Shop, Sonic Temple from The Cult. Great album. Also picked up another one of theirs recently as well. And then my wife ordered this one for me. It was a surprise. She got me the self-titled debut from Candlebox. I love Candlebox, and mainly because of this record. They never, in my opinion, outdid this album. It was really originally released in '93, and then it was re-released on music on vinyl in 2020. So those are the highlight pickups from this past 12 months. And, you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing what we were able to bring back into the collection. And hopefully, you know, there'll be a few that get brought into the collection this year. We'll have to see. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And look out for me tomorrow, I think 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be on the Metal Roundtable with Scott Waters, Carcass John, and Steve. And it'll be my first time being on that because I'm never off on Tuesdays. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And so if you don't watch it, you can find it on Scott Waters' channel, No Life Till Metal. And it'll be live streaming at 6 o'clock, and then eventually later that evening it'll be uploaded. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. God bless.